Hello, and welcome to another edition of Customer Success on a Nature Walk. Today's topic: should you accommodate every customer's requests? This is a very generic question, but what happens quite a lot when you're a startup, not only when you're a startup, to be honest, but when you get a customer in, it can be quite an important customer, a high-paying customer. You really want to keep the customer, and then the customer starts requesting either different features or service that is outside the scope of what you offer at the moment. Should you accommodate that? So, should you put that on the roadmap? This is a big question. It's not just a customer success question, it's also a product question, but mainly, actually, this is a strategy question. So, it really always needs to fit into your strategy as your company. Like, where are you going? Where are you heading? What do you want? Does it fit in there? Because sometimes it can be a feature there where you're like, okay, well, it takes like a week to build. Well, what feature takes a week to build? But sometimes it can be relatively easy. You think, well, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's keep them happy. However, in a lot of these cases, what you'll actually be doing is you won't be making the customer that happy, but you're setting a precedent. So you need to be super, super careful here, because a big part of customer success, ensuring that your customers are successful and ensuring that your customers renew, is managing their expectations. And I'm not saying like they have really high expectations, you need to lower them because you can't, because they need to. That's not what I mean. I don't mean we need to settle and not be ambitious. What I mean is that a large part of doing customer success is education and hand-holding for customers. It's very likely that your product means a change in workflow for your customer, or some kind of change in the way that they work. And they will either have already done what they're doing in your product somewhere else, in another product, or in another way, which means that they'll take that experience with them and apply it to what they're doing with you. So they'll want to do certain things in the way that they were doing it before, even if it's not better. Because sometimes what you're used to is what you naturally want to have, even though it's not the better way. So the change management that comes into play there is important, and this is why you need to educate. So you need to understand and need to keep the focus with your customers on what are you actually trying to achieve, and also what are you trying to achieve as a business. Because if you're thinking about applying extra features, building extra features, like if it's already on the roadmap and you're like, well, we'll just pull it forward a little bit, we'll deliver it earlier than we thought. That's one thing. It's quite another thing to build it just for one customer. And then you're setting an expectation where they think that they can just ask you for whatever they want, which is probably not how you want to position yourself. So you really need to make sure that from the beginning you set this expectation with the customer that sure, you are there to make them successful, but challenge them on what this means as well. Like if they think that being successful is working the exact same way as they were working before, just in your product, then why did they acquire your product in the first place? They have a good reason for it, for sure. So remind them of them and educate them on it. Another possibility is that your customer or that you're a product that they haven't used before, so then you need to educate them in a different way, where you need to educate them on why they need to do this. Sometimes even if they've bought it and they're like, okay, we'll buy your product, we'll use your software, then if they've never done it before, they still sometimes need nudges, reminders, and education on how to actually use it to their advantage and in a way that makes them successful with it. Doesn't mean that your product isn't good. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's not worth it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Keeping your customer happy in the sense that you're giving them whatever they want. It's kind of like the same with kids. You don't want to give your kid everything that they ask for, because it might make them happy to have ice cream 3 times a day, but it won't make them happy in the long run, will it? So the same thing goes for customers, really. Don't give them ice cream 3 times a day. All right. So there you go. Don't make your customers happy. Make them successful.